On today's show, Roxanne is back. Well, hey there, Pro Church Nation. Welcome to the Ask Brady Show, the show where we answer your questions pertaining to church, communications, and the world that is digital. Last week was a lonely show because we were missing 50%, maybe 51% of what makes this show great. Roxanne, she is back because her wedding, 4 days. Who goes to a wedding for 4 days?
It was a long celebration. What can I say?
Well, I'm leaving for 4 days, and now all of the pain that you inflicted upon me shall be inflicted back.
That's
Twofold! Tomorrow I leave with my wife to Florida for 4 days. We're going to see about baseball games, because that's what we do. I am on a quest to see all 30 baseball stadiums, 31 if you include both in Atlanta, last year's and this year's. So I'm 25 down, 6 to go. Tropicana Field tomorrow and Sunday, Marlins Park on Monday. That'll bring me up to 27, only 4 to go. What are the 4 remaining, Roxanne? Minnesota, Milwaukee, Oakland, and the new Atlanta ballpark. Oakland is next month.
That's pretty exciting. You're like so close.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you're done?
I don't know. Maybe I'll expand my horizons. Like we have a trip planned later for Greece. I've never been outside of North America. I mean, I don't really count the Caribbean. So I've never been outside of North America. So that's I think that's where the horizons will be expanded to. International travel. See the world. Now that I've been to literally every American city.
Yeah.
And of course, of bigger news, the Nucleus launch is complete. We've closed registration, and now we're going to be working directly with our charter members. Right after we record this, I have a meeting with our designers and developers to plan out phase 2 of Nucleus. We've got this big, long list of features that we're going to be building. We had 1,060 churches exactly join as charter members, which is super exciting. My goal was 1,000. That was the low end of the goal. And so we just made it, which is great. Always feels good when you set a goal and you achieve that. So we've got 1,060 churches in there. We're going to be opening up a private Facebook group for all the users so we can be sharing what we're learning. What I'm really excited about Nucleus is that we're going to be, what makes Pro Church Tools who we are? All of the training that we do, right? We're a company that is built on content, built on stuff like the Ask Brady Show, stuff like the podcast and the articles and the videos. And what we're going to bring to the software platform that is Nucleus is a ton of training to go along with it. Because using software is great, but if you're using it incorrectly, it doesn't matter.
Truth.
So we're going to bring that training inside that private Facebook group, among other things, and we're going to have we're going to create a Trello board that shows all of the features that we're building. So here's what's in progress, here's what's completed, here's what's coming up, kind of like a roadmap, which is exciting. And so lots of great stuff there. We'll be opening back up again later in 2017. Not entirely sure. We've got a ton of things that we want to add to the platform before we open up registration again. So there's no definite timeline on that. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No, I think that's all the exciting news here.
Product launches are insane. They are exhausting and they kill your soul in mostly good ways. I always underestimate how difficult it is to come back from a launch. So the day after, I felt like absolute trash. The day after that felt more like it was worse. It's like when you go to the gym and then it's 2 days later.
It's true, yeah.
Product launch, 2 days later, I felt so bad. I ate 2 boxes of cheese nips. It was the only way to get through it. Guess what? That didn't make me feel any better. Felt even worse.
That's fair.
Woke up yesterday and was like, okay, feeling a little semblance of normality. And today I feel all right again. Just sleeping lots. I think it's good that we planned this little 4-day vacation because when you work 4 months of 16-hour days and you're stressing over the future of people's jobs and the future of the company and everything, and you're changing everything, it's tough.
It's true.
It's not easy.
No.
And so, little vacation, and I'm back at it. Nucleus 2.0, along with the mystery project that is, what is It's a mystery.
Stay tuned.
You will find out this year, and it is going to be a big deal. And with that being said, let's dive into the questions today. Ask Brady, back with our real question answer.
All right.
Wait, question asker. I'm the question answerer. Well, sometimes you answer some questions.
That's true.
Not really, though.
Wow. All right, the first question comes from Sean, and Sean says,
Hey Brady, Sean Brackett here. My question for you is regarding central hubs. Whether you're like me and you've signed up for Nucleus, or you're like some other churches that might have their own central hubs going on, the question really is, what information should we keep on our website versus what we put on our central hub? And is there a fine line between what goes on both? Also, linking. I noticed that from Nucleus, we link to our website. Should we also have a link somewhere on our website to our central hub? Or since the website's more based on visitors and first-timers, would that be pretty much irrelevant for them to even see and shouldn't bother putting that on there? Anyway, thanks for having me. We'll see you later.
Well, we have our very first video question on Ask Brady, which is super exciting. Big shout out to Sean for that. If you send in a video question, just a side note, we will prioritize the answering of that. So if you've sent in a question and we haven't got to it yet, send in a video. I want more video questions like that. They're awesome. You can just do it on your phone. It doesn't have to be like anything crazy. Send in your video question. If you want your question to be answered first, we will prioritize those that are sent in via video. Okay, so let's talk about the integration between your main website and your central hub. And of course, if you're new to Ask Brady, you may not know what this means, so just to do a quick recap, we believe in something called the twin website framework, and that is that your online platform, your church's online platform, which for most is just one website, is serving two very unique and different audiences. You've got potential new visitors, people that are finding you through maybe an advertisement, organic search, a referral, and they don't know anything about your church. They haven't attended yet. Maybe they don't even know that you exist. They land on your website for the first time, and what you want to do is you want to set up that first page on your main website to be for those individuals. So the question is, what do you do about your existing congregation? Taking next steps, signing up for events, registering for small groups, giving, watching, and engaging with content, all that stuff. Well, what normally happens is you bury it in the back of the website. Now and that's why we suggest having two unique platforms. The central hub, which is for your existing congregation, and your main website, which is for these potential new visitors. So I'm going to lay out the exact blueprint that I think you should set up for your online platform. I think first, you should have your main website. And the first thing someone would see is a big, nice picture background or video background. You could even have a picture background that changes pictures every 5 seconds. That's not a slider, by the way. The picture is the only thing that's changing. Very different than a slider, though it may seem similar. Big, nice picture, people smiling in your church, okay? That's what you want. No stock images. Don't put the picture of your building first. Don't even put someone's raised hand. Just smiling people at your church, real community. That's what you want to show. Why? Not because community is necessarily the most important thing at your church or at any church, but because humans react positively to other humans smiling. It makes us happy. Buildings do not make us happy. Like, oh, a building, that has a steeple, or not. Sweet. So, people smiling. Then what you want is one main headline. This main headline is what you would put on your website if you only had one sentence to put on your entire site. So for instance, if you had a website that was just a blank white page and you only had one sentence that you were allowed to put on it, what would you put on that site? That's what you want to put there as that single headline. One great hack to use this, if you're not sure if you're going to be a great copywriter, I don't know what to put, is to use a testimony. And once a church that does this, and I always forget their name, is a church in Omaha. Omaha First Baptist. Omaha of the Open Door. Omaha Grace Point. Omaha... Yes, Glad Tidings. Omaha Glad Tidings. If you search Glad Tidings Omaha, I love using them as an example because the first thing you see on their site is like a smiling couple, and they're like, "We found our church home," and then it changes to another smiling couple, and the call to action is the same, but they show a couple of different testimonies. So you could do that. You could just put "We found our church home." Then I'd have two buttons, and it would be one button that says "Plan your visit," and the other button would say "Watch a service." And if you don't have a service that you can watch, it could be listen to a message or something like that. Because what you want to do is you want for a potential new visitor to, get a taste of what maybe your church is like with the watch a service, listen to a message, whatever that is. You also would want, you can even do a welcome video. You also want them to be able to plan their visit. Okay, what time is it? Where am I going to park? What about my kids? What should I wear? What should I expect? How long is it going to be? Anything weird happen? What about the money thing? Am I supposed to give? And so that's what I would do at your main site. Now, in your navigation menu, I would add a navigation link that says either Central Hub or Next Steps. And that would link to your Central Hub, your nucleus. And then your nucleus is where all of your existing congregation gets sent to take their next steps. Because you're not sending them to the main website. If you're part of the existing congregation, you land on that main website, okay, great. Now I got to find the baptism sign up. Okay, it was some long, complicated URL. Maybe it's on a subdomain. I got to go to the website, search through the back pages and find it. You don't want to do that. So what we do is we set up a single URL, something like firstbaptist.life. Maybe the main website is firstbaptist.com. You go to firstbaptist.life, you land on the central hub, and this is where the existing congregation is doing all of their interaction. So that's the way that we suggest that you set it up. In your nucleus, we recommend that you link back to the main website. On your main website, we recommend that you link back to your central hub, just a navigation link that says next steps or central hub or something like that. That way, if you're part of the existing church, you can click on that and always find the central hub from both places, and you can go back and forth between both. But if you're landing on the website for the first time, what you're seeing is that new stuff that you need to see. The two main calls to action that you want to give to a potential new visitor. They're seeing the smiling faces. They scroll down, they see more about that. They're not going to click on one random link in the navigation menu. And if they do, that's of their own volition, right? Let's talk about how you should differentiate what's on what. I don't think there's much overlap except for maybe messages. So I recommend keeping your entire sermon message archive on your main website, simply because an entire archive of messages doesn't really belong on a central hub. What I would say is you could highlight a single message on your central hub. So what you could do is you could highlight a very special message, you could highlight the most recent message. So if someone in your existing church is surfing through your central hub, like, oh yeah, I want to listen to this week's message or last week's message. But you want to keep your main full archives on your actual website, because something like a central hub, it's not really a content management system like a main website. It's just, feels like an app. It's there for some quick hits and for taking action, not necessarily a full catalog to go through everything you've ever done. When it comes to what's on your main site versus what's on your central hub, your main website is going to be there for the informational stuff. So you want to have everything pertaining to a new visitor. So who are we, our beliefs, our staff, listen and watch messages, what to expect, plan a visit, the map, location, service times, all of that stuff. And then your central hub can have literally every next step. So this would be anything that requires your existing church to make a commitment or respond. So this would be giving, signups, cards that are getting returned, prayer requests, contact. And the great thing about your nucleus/central hub and your main website is that you can integrate them however you want. So if you want to have a big give button on your website, put that link and then link it to your giving card in your central hub. And that way that they can always be integrated. Just because we believe in the two website framework or the twin website framework, it's not about them being separate. It's really about just being able to send your people to the right place. It's not about taking your website and making two different complete entities. It's about taking your existing website, splitting them. They can still be integrated, but at the end of the day, the whole purpose of Nucleus, the whole purpose of the central hub is to have a really short, easy, and memorable URL that you can send people to all the time. And it's your single call to action always. So every single time inside of your church service, you can say, go to firstbaptist.life. And that way people kind of begin to understand the culture of taking their next steps. It's always to go to firstbaptist.life. Hope that helps.
All right. Question 2 comes from Lizzie Says on Twitter.
Lizzie asks, should I be posting on Facebook and Instagram daily? How often should I share the same post on both?
Okay, so for Instagram, I definitely recommend posting once per day. We've been doing that at Pro Church Tools on my personal account for most of 2017 and before even. And I really found that to be the sweet spot, once a day. Anything less than once a day, and you just start to lose the momentum and the reach, I feel like, with Instagram. They do have an algorithm now, so it's not that you just post and you get shown up whenever, chronologically you posted in comparison to the other posts in a person's following. You get shown based on, your relevance. And the more that you post, the more relevant you're gonna be, assuming you're posting high quality. And then really that's kind of the intersection in the Venn diagram that you need to consider. It's how frequent can I post? It's a perfect Venn diagram, right? So Venn diagram, it's the two circles and where does the circles overlap? That's the sweet spot. So you've got quality of posts versus frequency of posts. And really you want to maximize the quality of posts and the frequency where they overlap. As soon as you start to post so much that the quality suffers, that's when you want to back off of it. So I think every day for Instagram, that's where you want to aim. Now, for Facebook, it is a bit different because Facebook is a pay-to-play platform, essentially. Meaning, if you post something, we have close to 20,000 likes, or follows, I think they're called now, on our Facebook page at Pro Church Tools. If we post something and don't boost it, or don't like pay to actually get it sent out to our following, it'll get like 8 likes, which is like obscenely low reach. And so we often find ourselves boosting posts, which isn't a good way to spend Facebook money. You know, we have a ton of money that we spend on Facebook, and so we boost, you know, just basically for the heck of it. Do not waste your Facebook ad budget boosting posts. But with Facebook, posting every day is a little bit difficult, though we still do it. So I would recommend posting once, post once a day on both. The difference between Instagram is that, you know, you don't need yet, maybe they'll change it because they are owned both by Facebook, where you do need to boost on Instagram as well to get reach the way that you want it to. But I would post both every single day. And then what I would do is when you see a post on Facebook that's getting good organic traction, now don't listen to Facebook's prompts because they want you to think that every single post deserves to be boosted. They'll be like, hey, this post is performing 8% better than your other post. You're like, 8%, that's nothing. They're like, give us money, boost it, hit the button, boost, boost. Shake my hand, 3, 2, 1, click the button, boost, boost, do it now, do it now.
Can I think about it? 5, 4, 3, 2, now, say it. Do it now. Do it now. Do it. Shake my hand. You will sell me this car. Shake my hand. Yeah. All right.
You know, like they'll just keep using different language. Like, this post was posted at 2:30 p.m. You should boost it. And you're like, that doesn't seem logical. They're like, you know, boost it. Do it. Mark said it. But Zuckerberg, boost. Like, Facebook's entire goal is like, yeah, you want to boost this post, bro. They're like your friend that's like always like thinking like you should do something, and you're like, look, sometimes I want to listen to you, crazy friend, but most of the time you're just crazy.
Right.
Don't listen to Facebook. So what I would say is if you're getting really good organic traction and you have like, you know, let's say a post you publish and organically it's doing well, meaning it's a good post and Facebook is like, we're going to send this to the people that like this page because it's a quality post. That's when you might want to consider boosting it. But yes, I would post every single day on both of those platforms. When should you overlap? Never. Now, what we do is we'll record a video, let's say it's 3 minutes long, and we'll post that on Facebook in a 16:9 aspect ratio. What we'll then do is we'll take that video, we'll cut it down to a single minute, we'll add our own captions, because Instagram doesn't support captions yet with an SRT file, and then we'll put that into Instagram. So technically that is the same content, but we're changing it from a 16:9 aspect ratio with built-in captions on Facebook to a 1:1 aspect ratio, 1/3 of the length with our own animated captions. And so don't ever overlap stuff directly. If you are going to take the same message and put it on both platforms, use the language of each unique platform and play by their own rules. Don't post the exact same thing. Why do we change the aspect ratio from 16:9 on Facebook to 1:1 on Instagram? Well, because it looks way better 1:1 on Instagram on your phone. If you're scrolling down on Instagram, it takes up like so much more of the page. And so it's okay to post the same message, but do it in a different way that's unique to each platform. If possible, don't ever post the same message. Sometimes your message is so good, though, you need to post it everywhere.
It's true.
Like that was one of the challenges with the Nucleus launch. We're like, I want this to be on every platform because everyone needs to hear it. And we don't do a big launch push very often, once or twice a year. You know, and I was like, okay, well, we need to get this out there, but we still want it to be unique. And so we'd change the aspect ratio, change the way we do the captions, change the length, making it native to each unique platform.
All right. Question 3 is from John Price.
John asks, what do you think about announcement slides before the service? Mainly for social media links or maybe a next step?
You know, it's interesting. Announcement slides are, I think, basically how I got my start in church media. Slides that were like, you know, just one after another, just graphic images on the screen before service began. I remember going to a church that did them and I was like, this will save the church. Like I thought it was the coolest thing ever. These really cool, well-designed slides. I think they were just from Graceway, our friends over there, that had been edited for that church. And they were like, you know, just on a little carousel before the service began. It was like, check in on Facebook. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And so I remember, like first year of college, I started creating those for our church. These slides that would be on the screen before service began, and they'd have different, you know, announcements or calls to action. So it'd be like, hey, follow us on Facebook, or hey, youth barbecue. on Wednesday night. And so I think they're an awesome thing to do. What you don't want to do is have too many, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you have way too many, what's going to happen is you're going to start to drown out the noise. So let's just talk about some basic communication strategies here. I would choose 5 or less, and I would choose 1 or 2 that have a compelling reason to take that next step. And I'd make them that you could take the next step in the seat right there. So there should be at least, let's say you have whatever number of slides that you have, 5 or less, I'd recommend 6 or less. Make sure that half of them, people can respond to them right then and there, such as like us on Facebook, and then give them a reason to like you on Facebook, right? This is like the worst thing that people do, and this isn't pertaining to churches. Like there's a sports network called Sportsnet. It's my favorite sports network in Canada, and they'll have these like 3-second commercials where they'll just be like Sportsnet on Facebook, and you're like, was that a commercial? And then they'll like do a real commercial for like, club soda. And then they'll be like, follow Sportsnet on Twitter. And you're like, no, why? Why would I do this? Like, you're giving me no reason why. So even big brands, are doing that improperly. And the bigger you are, surely you're gonna get some response to that, but we wanna use good communication strategies. And so we like to use these like compelling reasons or bribes, or whatever you wanna call it. It's like our church on Facebook and, show us that you did it, shoot us a message, and we'll send you a free X. Or, like our church on Facebook today, and we'll see that you liked us. You could do this. Like our church on Facebook today, and you'll be entered to win a prize. That might be a good way to do it, because that way you don't have to give something to everyone, but you could check, how many people liked you or who liked you, and then you could make it happen that way. Or you could set it up where, someone likes you on Facebook and they, respond via text message, and then they get entered to win into a draw. But give them a reason to do it, because, we know not everyone arrives to church early. There's a huge portion that never will, but there is another huge portion that does. And every week they're just sitting there and they see these slides. Give them a way to respond right then. It doesn't have to be like liking on Facebook, but it could be like, take a picture, add the hashtag. That would be a good one. Take a picture of yourself and your family at church, add the hashtag, we love Central or whatever it is. You could track those hashtags, and then each Sunday you could put everyone that uses that hashtag into a draw, right? So compel them to do it. Don't just say, follow Sportsnet on Twitter, but give them a reason why to do it. That way there is like a little bit of give and take, right? They're doing something that's awesome for your church, posting about your church and giving you free press on social, which is a huge win for you. Give them a reason why, maybe something as simple as a contest. I would love to see some churches try that out.
Yeah. All right. Last question comes from Benjamin Garcia.
Benjamin asks, do you have any recommended resources on how to tell good stories?
I'm glad we're going to put this in an Ask Brady, because a long time ago on Instagram, I posted kind of my top 5 favorite books on storytelling. So Joe, if we can link up each of these books in the show notes on YouTube, and I just have to scroll down because it was a long time ago, but I'll always point back to this Instagram post. But it's like 12 months ago in the ether of Instagram, like, oh look.
I've actually sent it to people too when they send in
the
same question.
Yeah, totally. Okay, here it is. Oh man. Yeah, so it was more than a year ago. Okay, so here are the 5 books that I read probably more than a year ago to really help me out in my storytelling journey. So number 1 is A Million Miles in 1,000 Years by Donald Miller. Second one is Story by Robert McKee. And Robert McKee is like one of the last century's greatest screenwriters. Him and his students have touched pretty much every single show or movie that you love. And so that book's all about screenwriting for film and for TV, which is great, storytelling for video. Wired for Story by Lisa, I'm going to say Cron, it might be Crone. TED Talk Storytelling by Akash Korea. It's one of my favorites. It's like the super short book. And it talks about how if you look at the most successful TED Talks, how all of them are based on story. And it gives you all these really quick tips for how to tell better stories, they're super fun. And then finally, The Storytelling Animal by Jonathan Gottschall, which is all about how humans interact and respond to stories based on our, biochemistry and neurology and all that fun stuff. So that's a quick hitter, but 5 great books on storytelling. Of course, if you're inside Pro Church Academy, we have a course called The Skill of Storytelling, where we share the church storytelling formula and how I take a bunch of the things that I've learned about storytelling. I'm like, okay, how can we apply this to church in the world of video, in the world of social, in how we do our websites and everything in digital and church communication. So that's obviously a big one as well. A bunch of templates and cheat sheets to go along with that.
Cool.
You know, you missed last week, and you barely said anything this week, and I'm starting to question.
Well, you know, last week all I heard was that you guys insulted me, so
Yes, we did
I feel
that.
like I don't need to contribute this week.
That was a test. Insulted you to see if you'd watch. And did you?
Yes.
No.
I did.
No.
Because my mother texted me.
Your
and was
mom
like,
texted
fun
you
of you
and tattled on us, Mrs. Wiedemann, and tattled on us, and that's the only reason that you watched, which proved my point. Proved it. Got him. If you want your question answered, if you want your question answered, you can hashtag AskBrady on Instagram and Twitter. In the comments below on Facebook and YouTube. Remember, we're prioritizing video questions. You want your question answered first? We've got this giant queue. Roxanne, how long is the queue?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty long.
It's a queue. You remember Roller Coaster Tycoon as a kid? And you'd like create the queue to like the big roller coaster, and you'd like create this crazy long queue, and then it'd be full, and people couldn't even get in the queue because it was so long. Oh, throwback to Roller Coaster Tycoon. That is what the queue looks like for Ask Brady. How could you get to the front of the line, Roxanne? Oh, what if you had one of those speed passes that they now have that costs like twice as much at Wonderland and theme parks? No, we don't have that. Video question is your speed pass. Send it in. How should people send in video questions?
Well, the one we received this week was just on Facebook.
Just a post on our.
Sent it.
Was it in the comments or just on our Facebook post?
I think he just sent it, like he posted it on our page, but you can also post a video in the comments too. So.
You can?
Yeah.
Wow. Do it. You'll be put into the Ask Brady show in video form. And we'll, you know what? And we'll put their social handle as well. Cool. That's what we should do, like whatever, you know, on Twitter, Insta, Facebook, whatever it is. We'll put in your social handle as well to give you a little bit of shout out for putting that video question together. So, video prioritized. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week, and I will have not a tan probably because I don't really tan, but I'm up to Florida. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you next week.